Next, we'll do item F, which is contract for bus routes.
Okay, so I have been approached by a contractor, Mr. Turner, and by a buyer, Mr. Scribner. Mr. Scribner would like to acquire Mr. Turner's bus route number 7 of Turner Transportation. Turner will still operate one bus route. So I have given the board some options on what they can do with that bus route. So it's time for discussion. And
What route is it?
bus number 7, route number 7, sir. It runs down Y Highway, towards the end of Y Highway down. He's got some pretty rough gravel roads.
I make a motion, we approve the transfer at and for him to continue to operate on the old contract.
Okay.
So I have a motion to, for the transfer of the cell from Turner to Mr. Scribner, based on the existing of the old contract that's in place.
That would be the agreement for right to contract and the
The number
contract
one
itself.
option.
Okay.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Troy makes a second. Discussion.
That is the option 1 that we were presented
Yes.
both under the old contract.
Yes, sir.
Here, no discussion. We'll call for a vote. All those in favor, raise your right hand. 2, all those votes no, raise your right hand. Motion fails 5-2. So we have 2 options left that we have discussed, or Mr.
Yes.
Gallagher's on.
You have 2 options left that I emailed you today. You have the second option would be deny the transfer from Dwayne Turner to Tommy Scribner. You could obviously at any point offer Mr. Turner the buyout, which I doubt he would take, and he could continue operating his bus route the way it is, or you could offer Mr. Scribner the 3-year contract draft that Mr. Minkus has sent us, our school attorney. You could offer that to Mr. Scribner, and he could agree to that. With that, you would have to have a release. That would be part of your motion. You'd have to have a release from Mr. Turner for their agreement to the right to contract. He would have to release his right to contract bus route number 7. I have gone over the 3-year contract, what it would look like with Mr. Scribner. Mr. Scribner was okay with that, and verbally to me had agreed to that contract. I did let Mr. Turner know that he would, if that was the option that was taken, that part of the motion, and in order to contract with Mr. Scribner, he would have to release the district from his right to contract. Correct, gentlemen? Did I miss anything?
Do you have anything to say, Dwayne?
I really, if you'd let me speak, please, I would really like for Mr. Scrivener to be able to buy my route, but I do not want to see Mr. Scrivener buy this and just get it paid for in 3 years with the possibility of it being taken away from him and not being able, all he'll do is get paid for it. And if this is the option, I withdraw my sale of route number 7 with Turner Transportation. I will not do a man that way.
So you want to withdraw?
Yeah, I'm withdrawing my sale. Route number 7 is not for sale anymore. Because
You want to withdraw the approval of the second
right,
consideration by the board.
right, because Tommy, I'm sorry, you know, but whenever if a man just gets something paid for and it can be taken away from him, I don't do business that way. Because it'll just be at the point, he'll just be living on peanuts, he'll just make his payments and keeping the bus up, cars. I've run one of these for 15 years, I know what it takes to run one of these. It's not the most lucrative deal in the world. It's good for me at my age when I bought it. But I cannot sell a man something and at the point and him not having no security of being able to run it for a few years and make money. Thank you.
Unless there's another motion.
Do we have any other motions regarding this issue?
So is there any need to make a motion to,
He's
he's withdrawing?
There's no action unless there's another motion.
Okay.
No action, no other motions, so we will move on to the next thing. So, need a motion to adjourn?
Yeah, make
I
it.
I have I'd like to make a statement, if we can still get that in on discussion. That'd be all right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what we just did tonight with the transportation system, I believe is unlawful, because we entered into an agreement with this district, with these bus drivers, that they have the right to sell that as long as we approve the buyer. And we just now, I don't know what we just did, but I don't think it's right, so we might think about that. You know, I've got 3 campaign promises right here, and some people might want to read that. I'll leave them there. That's all I got to say.
Anybody else have any comments?
I think the district discussed it. Did you discuss it with the attorney on whether it was lawful?
I did.
This is the school attorney, according to the attorney, thinks that it's lawful.
Well, I mean, if there's a problem with interpreting what we did, I mean, there could be a lawsuit over it. And it could go to a judge, and they can bring up the past president, vice president, and we can, I mean, it could go to court and they could find out what the intent of that contract was. But I believe they've got full right to it. They've got a right to the contract. And as long as they're selling to somebody that we can approve, we approve it and they do it. And right now, what we did tonight is we told him he couldn't sell it the way that we told him he could do when he bought it. He paid for that with his money. That right to contract was paid for with money from him. And I believe Mr. Turner has the right to sell it, just like the contract that we entered into with him, any way he sees fit, as long as the buyer is approved. I don't know, was there a problem with the buyer? If there wasn't, why did we not approve the first original way? Anyone want to explain that? There's 5 votes.
I think we thought it would, well, I'll just say what my opinion, I don't know. What my opinion was is we felt like it would be fair to the district and to the buyer to have a 3-year contract to make a fair salary, but then, yeah, they wouldn't have that right to contract.
That's what this whole 2-year thing was about. And when you guys answered the questionnaire to the newspaper, you guys knew that. That's what was fought for 2 years, for them to have a right to their contract.
And there's also attorneys that says that's not legal as well. So it's, I mean, this is an interpretation of the law. We have attorneys that drew it up for you guys. We have an attorney, you know, a school attorney that drew this up. So, I mean, it's an interpretation. Whether you're right or wrong.
They're saying that it's
where-
illegal, or the contract
No.
reads differently.
What this contract that we presented, that was presented to us tonight from Dr. Dial, from our attorney that the school has hired, I don't believe he would have presented that to us if he thought that was illegal.
What's wrong with the old contract? Did the attorney say there was something wrong with it?
The attorney's opinion?
No, just is it legal or not?
What was the attorney's
It is-
opinion?
It is legal
And binding.
because it is signed and dated. It is legal.
And the school entered into that with that person?
The current contract that Mr. Turner has is legal because it is signed and dated. Now, he has an opinion of it.
Mhm.
He has an opinion that you can't own a route. That's his opinion. But the school district did enter into that contract.
So now we're gonna deny,
I'm just.
I'm- we're gonna start denying all the sales. Is that right? The school's already sold to McDonald's. We already have a history.
Offer a 3-year contract for the rest of us next year? Is that what we're coming to?
It was a 3-year contract, what is?
I make a
my
motion to
opinion.
adjourn.
We have a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Mark seconds. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor? 7-0.
I'll address.
May I answer a question?
Gentlemen, I'll stand here and answer all your questions for as long as you want to answer. And I'll answer your question.
You got a problem?